was, I mentioned that we were in Virginia, and it was actually really cool. My dad spent a couple years living there when he was a kid, I think like 8 and 9 years old. And he told us on the bus ride out there that it was when he lived in Virginia that he had his very first girlfriend at 9 years old. And so us kids just thought it would be absolutely hilarious if she ended up showing up to our gig yesterday.
And here he tells us we can't date until we're 18.
Yeah, what about that, Dad? No, it was really funny though. I guess her name was Kathy. And so when we were there, I said, you know, my dad had his first girlfriend here. Kathy, are you here? And I swear, there was like 4 to 6 ladies, their hands shot, like, oh, that was me. That's so me. And I was like, wow, okay. Dad has some fans. Here we go. It's going to feature our sister, Jeanette. Jeanette, turn around and say hi. This is Jeanette. She is 20 years old. She's going to be playing the Irish tin whistle for you guys. And a lot of people mistake the instrument for a flute.
If you value your life, don't.
Just kidding. Yes, please don't call it a flute. It is an Irish whistle, and it is confusing because she has them in a bunch of different sizes. So the larger ones people tend to think are flutes or something else. I don't know. They come up with all sorts of names. You guys are familiar with the movie The Little Mermaid, and you know Seagull Scuttle. The seagull Scuttle is like Ariel's bringing him all the stuff, and he's explaining what it is, and she brings him a pipe, and he goes, "Oh, that's a snarfblat." Well, sometimes Jeanette, people are like, "What instrument is that?" She's like, "It's called a snarfblat."
And some people believe me.
That's the best part. But this set of tunes is called Spinning Set, and like I said, we're gonna bring it back to the Irish stuff a little bit again, and play a tune that I wrote for a good friend of mine when she was getting married. Actually, the full story is that my good friend, her name's Maranatha, and she grew up with this guy named Johnny. Ever since they were just toddlers, their families grew up together, and they always did everything together. But Johnny was absolutely in love with Maranatha since he can remember, and Natha did not like Johnny. And she was annoyed that he would always...
Classic love story.
Yeah, classic love story. She was annoyed that he would always follow her around and stuff. And anyway, fast forward many, many years, and I meet Maranatha, and we're good friends, and she's like about 20, 19, 20 something, and she calls me up one day, and she goes, "Jen, I have to tell you something." I was like, "What's that?" And she's like, "I'm dating Johnny." And I was like, "What? Like Johnny? Like you hate Johnny? And she's like, "Yeah, I'm dating him." And I was like, first of all, Johnny's a great guy, so I was super happy. I was like, yes, finally. But of course, on the phone, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Anyway, so that night, I wrote this tune, and I named it Maranatha's Wedding. And this was just like when they first started dating. But 2 years later, they got married, and now have 2 beautiful little girls. So basically, the moral of the story is if you want something to happen, just ask me to write a tune about it. And Jer's already asked me to write a tune called Jeremiah Gets a Ferrari. So I'm still working on that one right now. But hopefully we'll see how that one turns out.